Coach Robert Zimmerman. Coach Zimmerman has coached for 25 years and for the past 17 years, beginning in 1999, the head coach at DeWitt. He has won 13 of 17 conference championships with 6 undefeated regular seasons. He has qualified for the playoffs 15 of the 17 years at DeWitt, winning 9 district and regional championships. Has been to the state finals 4 times. Division IV runner-up in 3 and 4, and Division III runner-up in 2002 and 2013. He was named Lansing State Journal Coach of the Decade in 2009. Received the Jack Eberling Building Leaders Award in 2013, and was the West head coach for the East-West All-Star Game in 2010. Received 10 Regional Coach of the Year honors, and named Division III Coach of the Year in 2012. He served as a Michigan High School Football Coaches Association Director for 11 years. What coaching has meant to Coach Zimmerman. It is safe to say, although it is a job, it is also my passion and my biggest hobby. It has always been a very big part of my wife's, children's, and parents' lives as well. I would not have had these great experiences if it were not for their continued support. Coach Zimmerman's comment on why coach. It's the relationships that you build with your players, assistant coaches, and other coaches involved with the game that make it rewarding. Coach Zimmerman's biggest thrill in coaching? There have been many, but the one that stands out the most to me is the win over Bloomfield Hills Lazar in the state semifinals. I can still vividly remember the pre-game, waiting in the locker room, and seeing how ready the team was. I knew we were going to be playing for the state championship. Although it was a long time ago, it still seems like yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, the newest member of the Hall of Fame, Coach Robert Zimmerman.
Let's be honest, you guys are happy that I'm speaking right now. And it's not because you know much about me, but I'm the last one. You get to go home. I'd like to start off tonight by thanking Coach Steve Wilson, who retired from Fruitport a couple years ago. Steve nominated me for this award, and I have close ties to him. His son Phil is one of my coaches, and he's a great man. I appreciate that. I'd also like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this tremendous and very humbling honor, and certainly Jack Carlson for all of his hard work putting this evening together. I'd like to congratulate the other inductees this evening, as several of these guys are very good friends of mine, which make this evening more special. Noel and I have been very, very close friends for approaching 25 years, and I'd consider Ed, Scott, and Terry all good friends, and Jeff Olson. I have many family members from the UP, from Republic and Ishpeming, and he's coached a cousin of mine, so I feel like I know a little bit about that program and him as well. You know, it honestly is very difficult to fathom standing up here and being a part of this ceremony. When I truly thought about it, I realized 2 definitive things. One, I've really been blessed to have been surrounded by great people and had great role models for my entire life. And 2, that this recognition is really on the behalf of our coaching staff, players, administration, and the community of DeWitt. I truly am one of the luckiest guys in America. I have a great job and live a great community, have a great family. With that being said, if my parents and my family could just stand up real quick here, my immediate family, and Rich, I'm going to ask you to stand up also, okay? When I was young, my grandfather once told me that if I had a great work ethic and was able to deal with people, then I'd always have a chance to be successful. That philosophy was something that my parents always helped reinforce, and a motto that I guess I've tried to live by. Both of my parents have always been extremely hard workers, great role models, and great parents in general, not to mention great fans. I was fortunate I got to play football until I was 31 years old in some capacity. And I believe my father has only missed a couple of games during that time period, and there were ones that I told him that I didn't want him to go to because it wasn't safe where we were playing. I was fortunate enough to play in England for a season, and my parents even came over there and watched a couple of games. As a coach, my father's never missed a game. Yeah, I've been coaching a long time, and I missed one. My mother's only missed a couple. So to say that they're great fans is a true understatement. They truly have been a great inspiration for my whole life. My wife, Christina, if you'd stand up, please. She doesn't like this, but I'm going to ask you to stand up. So I'm down here last night at the coaches clinic for the last 2 nights, the Michigan coaches clinic, and I'm with some of my friends, my coaching friends, and one of them, who I'm real close with, asked me, when's your wife coming down? When are the kids coming down? And so I told him they're coming down today, and there's a bunch of other guys there, and he always takes every opportunity he can to take a jab at me, and he said, hey, you know, you really outkicked your coverage with her. You realize that, don't you? And, you know, the whole analogy of she's way better looking than I am and that I don't deserve her. And he said it about 3 times last night, and I wanted to argue with him, but I agree. 15 years ago when we met, I don't think she had any idea what she's getting into with this whole football thing. As with most good coaches, the wife's the glue that holds the family together, and our house is no different. For a person that had no athletic background whatsoever, when I met her, it's truly amazing how much she's done to help build the DeWitt football program. For somebody that claims to not be a fan of sports, she is very, very involved and cares a great deal about where we're at and how things are going. She's an unbelievable wife and mother that I appreciate and love more than she'll ever know. Our children, we have 4 of them. Kayla's 20. She was unable to attend this evening. Jacob, if you'd stand up, please. And if you would have the girls stand up too, I got a little story about them. Jacob is a sophomore at DeWitt, a great young man that we're very proud of. Very excited for the opportunity to coach him the next 2 years in our football program. He also plays basketball and runs track for us at DeWitt. And then I have my 2 young ones. I don't know if you guys can see them, but my 2 little towheads, Lane and Marin, are 8 and 6. And I think it's safe to say they're the biggest football fans in DeWitt. Probably one of my coaches would argue that his sons are bigger fans, but I got a couple of stories about these 2. Marin is 8, and she was a water girl in our varsity football team this last year. And I don't think I've ever seen a young kid more dialed into the games and pay more attention and take her job more seriously than what she did. It meant everything to her, and she reminds you of the little girl in Remember the Titans. You know, that little girl that got mad about everything, and I probably shouldn't tell you this, but there's a town that's maybe about 10 miles from us to the southeast that we're not real big fans of, and when we go through this town, because it's not real far from DeWitt, she gets angry when we even go across the border. Now, I don't think that's probably my fault, but she doesn't talk very highly of this town, and she reminds me of that little girl a little bit. And then Lane, the 6-year-old, she's a junior cheerleader in the making, loves cheerleading, loves Friday nights, and unfortunately, I think football has rubbed off on her quite a bit, because tonight, when we were in the hotel room before we came over here, we're getting ready and watching the Michigan State game, and Lane was sitting down. I don't know if you can see these or not, but there's 3 sheets here. She put together a presentation, her own speech for tonight for the clinic that she gave to me. She doesn't want to read it, but she did it in the hotel room. So those 2 are pretty big fans of DeWitt football. All of our kids have grown up being a part of the program. It's something that I believe has been a great learning experience for all of them. It's priceless to have watched them be so excited for Friday nights and how much they love the community of DeWitt. There's another guy that I'd like to point out in the back, Rich Lackey. I don't have any brothers or sisters. He's the closest thing that I have. My best friend since we were juniors in high school, went to rival schools, and college roommate, best man, and his wife Emily and son Crew are here this evening. And I love you, man. I appreciate you being here. My coaching staff, if you guys could stand up, please, real quick. Put you guys on the spot. I'm biased, but I believe that I currently have and have had one of, if not the best coaching staffs in the state of Michigan. Many of these guys have been with me for a very long period of time, and they're not only great coaches, but great friends. These guys are tireless workers and great role models for our players. Our players truly are lucky to have such a great group of guys and coaches that care so much about them and work so hard to help them to grow into outstanding young men. our program obviously wouldn't be where it's at if it weren't for those guys. I'm just going to read out their names real quick. Tim Williams, John Bertocca, Phil Wilson, Dave Schoonover, Jim Alger, and Kyle Askell are all present tonight and have all been with me for a long period of time. And I'd also like to acknowledge Steve, our trainer, who's like a second or another coach for us. I've never seen a trainer more into high school athletic events than Steve, but it's a pleasure to have him here this evening as well. I'd also like to thank all of our coaches' wives that made the trip, Julie, Candy, and Ashley. Greatly appreciate all the sacrifices that you make for your families during the season and really the year-round thing that we have going in our program as well. I do have to acknowledge some other coaches that have had a big impact on me and my life, starting with Glenn and Gene Hackney, who were coaches at Shepherd High School. When I got done playing at CMU, I decided I wanted to get into coaching, and they were the guys there. Had an unbelievable program at the time, allowed me to be a volunteer coach when I was very young, and really got me excited about the opportunity to be a part of football and coaching at the high school level. Don Lividotti, who was the head coach at Olivet College when I was 24 years old, gave me an opportunity to coach there for 2 years and learn about the college level and what it was like. Leo Rosenkrantz, who was the head coach at Spring Lake and gave me my first high school job with a teaching position as well. Dan Zhang, who's the current principal at Rockford, who was the athletic director at Cedar Springs when I got hired as my first head varsity position. And then two other gentlemen, Kevin Langs, who's the head coach at Climax Scots. He's also the athletic director. He's probably the highest character guy I've ever been around, just a great man and a true role model for me. And then Bill McCullen, who's here this evening also, is sitting over with the DeWitt people. He's our girls varsity basketball coach. We've shared an office for 17 years, and I'm biased, but I think he's the best coach in the state of Michigan, and just a great man, and he's been a role model for me, even though we're the same age. I greatly appreciate everything he's done for our school and for our kids. That being said, I move on to our administration. Sean Wade, our assistant principal, got hired at the same time at DeWitt as I did. Jody McKean, our principal. Terry Rayburn and her husband, Chris. And then Jill Lindman, who's Terry's assistant, are all here this evening, and I'm so appreciative of them and everything they do for DeWitt and they've done for our football program. Terry, I can't thank you enough for taking a chance on a guy 17 years ago. I'll be honest, I wasn't a real successful head coach like Terry talked about Montebello. My first head coaching job at Cedar Springs, we were 7-20 in 3 years. And I had some decisions to make as to where I was as a coach and tried to turn some things around, and I begged and pleaded with her to give me an opportunity at DeWitt and talked her into hiring me, and I'm forever grateful for that opportunity. I'm going to talk a little bit like Noel did about his community. I really feel like DeWitt's a special place. We have tremendous support for everything that takes place at the school. This support's a big part of why we've been fortunate enough to have had the kind of success that we've had in our football program. Our community, parents, and players understand what it takes to run a top-notch program. They understand the hard work and commitment that must go into it. They understand how important the youth program is, why they need to support fundraising efforts, even how much fun Friday Night Lights can be in a community like ours. I truly am blessed to be in a place like DeWitt. It's a special community. It's not just about football. I mean, we have great athletics as a whole. It's a great community, great academics, and the arts are very strong. It's a special place. But Friday nights in DeWitt are very special. They truly are a major community event when it's football season. In closing, I think the thing that's been the best about this whole experience for me is talking to so many former players in the past 4, 5, 6 weeks, a couple that are here tonight, and so many more that have contacted me to congratulate me about this honor. And really for myself and our coaching staff, I think knowing that we've had a positive impact on so many former players is without question the greatest reward that a coach can have. With that being said, we've got 149 days till we start practice next fall. So, gentlemen, let's get ready to go, all right? Excited about it. Thank you very much for this great honor. Go Panthers!